Peace, what's going on? NYP episode 3. Let's
Three.
yes. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Today we have a special guest who goes by the name of Born Justice. He's been a part of the 5% Nation, pardon me, for a very long time. He's gonna give us his history, and we have some questions for him. Mike, you can run away with it, man.
All right, peace to everyone on here. Sour Mickey, also known as Mikey Fever of NYP Podcast. And again, as my partner said, we have Born Justice, who's part of the 5% Nation or Nation of Gods and Earth. We're about to get into it. So peace to everyone. So peace, Born Justice. It's a pleasure to meet you, dog.
Peace. Pleasure all mine.
All right, that's what's up, man. Peace. I have a question to ask you. Tell us, who is Born Justice? Allah.
I'm a 69-year-old Black man, a mentor, teacher, educator,
Peace.
and a retired senior citizen at the present.
Peace. You know what? You don't even look 69, brother. You know, that's that good living, you see. I'd like to know, when did you get involved with the 5% Nation? When and where did you come in contact with the nation? Did you gain knowledge yourself?
Otisville State, well, really it was Spofford Juvenile, or Spofford Youth House, Bronx, New York.
Okay.
In 1968, I was a wild adolescent running the streets of New York City.
All right.
And got myself caught in a couple of situations, and I was ready to be sent upstate. So I was in Spofford Youth House, and I happened to hear some brothers speaking, and what they were saying sound kind of interesting. It sounded like a song, to be honest with you. So as I ear hustled a little bit more further, I realized that they were speaking some type of language, and I couldn't understand what they were saying, but it sounds good. And I approached one of the brothers and asked him, well, what were y'all talking about? And then he asked me, did I ever hear that the Black man was God? I said, no, what are you talking about? Because I didn't really come from a religious background. So, I was a street hustler. That's all I knew. And I said, no. So he started explaining it to me. The brother's name was El Yatu, and his partner was El Java.
Okay.
And it was in a cipher speaking about the day's mathematics. And that's what attracted me to it. And then when I heard them say what they were saying, and I ended up getting a better understanding of it, I told them I wanted to be a 5%.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And another thing is, do you remember, you say Spofford, so that must have been like juvenile home detention. So you must have been like, what, 15?
Hold on for a minute. Let me close my window because they playing music outside.
All right, you good, girl. You good. Got any questions, Brother Ron, to hit brother with?
Nah, I'm gonna let you run away with it,
All right.
It's 2 stars on this show. You know what I mean?
I hear you, man. It was Friday, episode 3, people. They will enjoy it.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, so you said you were a juvenile at the time. You were a youth, so you must have been like around 15, 16 when you got knowledge yourself?
I was 15.
Beautiful.
October the 7th, that's my born date, 1953. And I got knowledge of myself in Spofford Youth House in October the 7th, 1968. And I went on a fast for 3 days and came out successful. I was studying my lessons, my mathematics, and my alphabets, chose a name for myself. And if I'm correct, my name was Dahu at the time, which meant divine Allah, He understanding. And I held the keys to the universe at that time. That was the meaning of my name, Dahu, meaning the master of the keys of the universe.
That's deep. And about the lessons, like what are the for those who don't know, we're trying to give them an understanding. What are the tenets in philosophy ideologies of the 5% Nation?
Okay, once you come into the knowledge of yourself, which is knowing who you are, there's a set of lessons that we study, which is called 120 lessons or 120 degrees. And it's something that has to be committed to memory for us to be successful in our undertakings. It consists of the supreme mathematics, which is the numbers from 1 to 9. We have a supreme alphabet, which is from 1 to 26. Then we have a lesson called a student enrollment, which is called a 1 to 10. Then we have the 1 to 14, which is Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1. Then we have English C lesson, C1, which is called a 1 to 36. Then we have Lost and Found Muslim lesson number 2, which is called a 1 to 40. Then we have actual facts, which deal with the weight of the planet, the water, land, things of that nature, the measurements. And then we have the solar facts, which give you the measurements from the planets from the planet Earth. Like the Earth is 93 million miles away from the sun.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's
Oh my God. So I just wanted to you know, come with my questioning. So you said that Supreme Mathematics and Supreme Alphabet is a part of 120. From what I know, Supreme Mathematics and the Supreme Alphabet isn't a part of 120. 120 is the student enrollment through all the way to the solar facts.
Now, what I did, I just gave you a set of all the lessons.
Oh,
the actual, the solar fact. I mean, the Supreme Mathematics and that Supreme Alphabet are not consistent of the 120 degrees. I just added that. That's what we had to study at that time to gain knowledge of ourselves.
Absolutely.
So you're correct.
No, that's pretty deep. That's pretty cool. And not to go too far into the history, because you've been there. But for those who don't know, the lessons that you gained, the 120, were they derivatives from the Nation of Islam's teachings that were revised from the Father in the past?
Well, what happened was this: Allah, which is the father of the 5% nation of gods and earths, was in the Mars 1960 to 1963 for 3.5 years. Yes. And he came out and he left the Mars because he was dissatisfied and figured that the teachings was just being taught to the old in the Mars. Absolutely. And he became dissatisfied and he left the Mars and came to the street to deal with the youth. He always said that the wealth of the country are the children. Yes. So he came out the Mars with these set of lessons, and he instructed us to learn these lessons to be successful in the woods of North America this day and time. So the lessons did come out of the Nation of Islam, Mars number 7. At that time, it was on 116th Street and Lenox Avenue, yes, which I was born and raised in Harlem, on 110th Street and Lenox Avenue. But my growth and development where I lived at was on 117th Street and Lenox Avenue. So that's right around the corner from the Mars. So I had contact with a lot of the firstborn Muslims, firstborn in the nation, which I didn't know was firstborn at the time. I learned, later on in my years of who was who.
Oh, that's a fact. That's beautiful.
Let me take these glasses off.
That's beautiful.
I see the reflection on the
the glare. So the next question I'd like to ask, it's quite a few, but this question, I know like the Nation of Gods and Earth 5% has influenced hip hop with certain groups in the past. Do you think that influence is still there this day and age?
Of course it is. The influence is still there. In matter of record, I used to do security for Rakim on his 18th letter tour. Oh, when he was doing the 18th letter tour, I was working with him as his security and also his culture advisor and also his driver for him and his family. So he's aware of the culture. Same way with Big Daddy Kane, who I met and who still to today, both of these brothers are still in my reach to communicate with each other. Matter of fact, I spoke to Big Daddy Kane yesterday.
Peace.
And these brothers are they're in the culture, they're doing what they got to do. They got blessed with the knowledge of themselves and they have elevated themselves to the status of where they're at today.
That's true.
Oh, so I have a question for you regarding Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. How swift are they with the lessons?
Well, see, my relationship with them has never been like it was with the rest of the gods because of their professional lifestyle. They're aware of who they are I mean, if you were to ask them a question, I mean, they can handle themselves and speak, but I never actually took them through 120 lessons. Now, no, I gave Rakim a set of 120 when we was on the tour bus and, you know, working with his children and stuff, how they succeeded as far as studying and concerned. Today, I couldn't really say. The same thing with Big Daddy Kane. I mean, a couple of times when he was doing the, I think Prince of Darkness album, and one of the tracks on there, he had called me up and said, you know, come on down to the studio, and he wanted me to hear this track. I don't remember what the track was off the top of my head because it's been many years ago. And at that time, I took a brother with me named Lord Dumont, and we took a set of 120 down to Big Daddy Kane. Now, Big Daddy Kane also has been exposed a lot with me at the school. We've been in contact with each other. You know, when we did the 50th anniversary at the Apollo Theater, I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, you see what he said. What he said about me, what he said about teaching the lesson. How can the lesson still say after 1934 to 2000, at that time, 2014, how can they say that the Christianity is still 551 years old when it's like 1934 to 2000, you know, 2014? You can't be the same thing. You have to add on. You have to add it up and from 1934 to the present, and you get a different mathematical equation. And he used to come to the school. Matter of fact, when the school got burnt down back in the days, about 1990 something, he came through. I met him it was a video store on 7th Avenue on 127th Street on the uptown side. It was a video store. That's how far back I'm going. It was selling videos. And I bumped into him there. We spoke, and I told him the condition of what was going on with the school. We had a fire. So he walked over to the school, did a walkthrough, looked around, told me to come down to the studio the next day to meet him. And when I went down and met him the next day, he gave me an envelope with, if I'm correct, it was $2,000 to do repairs at the school. So he's been very instrumental in adding on and doing certain things, you know, to add on to the nation.
That's peace, God. I want to ask this question. Is it the 5% nation or the nation of gods and earths? What's the difference, and what is the actual timeline when things change, if it did?
When I got knowledge of myself, I got knowledge as a 5%er. Nothing has changed. I was told that I think it was like 1968, that the father made a proclamation and said that going into another year, that we would no longer be known as the 5%ers, that our children and babies will be known as 5%ers, and men will be considered gods. It would be considered the nation of gods and earths. And this is what was told to me. I can't say verbatim that it's all actual factual, but history speaks for itself. As you see now, people will say that we the 5% is also known as the nation of gods and earths.
That's peace, God.
But there's really no difference. You know, the nation of gods and earths only saying the nation of men, women, and children. As they add the cliche, a large 5%ers.
Yeah.
I'm one of a large 5%ers. Now you got another group that's calling themselves 5%ers, which a lot of them basically are Muslims, but they can't be discredited, and they call themselves 5% because our lessons tell us they're otherwise known as civilized people, Muslims and Muslim sons. You know, but to me, it's all the same. We're one family.
Yeah. Right. So that's why you have to differentiate the difference between a large 5% and 5%ers. That's why it's important to make that known.
Well, like I said, if somebody was to ask anybody who's the original man, they should come from the same root and say the same thing. Forget the title. My thing is this: forget the title. We're civilized people. That blankets everything. So we ain't got to get into the dialogue and getting stuck and have an argument and debate, because people like to debate. We scientists, so they want to debate on any little thing. You say up, I say down, I say left, you say right, I say tomato, you say tomato. Just say it's a fruit and let's move to the next level.
That's a fact. One thing I want to touch on is I'm going to say, for lack of a better term for the audience out there, what is the ideology of the 5% nation?
The concept of the 5% is this: Life is based on 100%. You have 85% of the population who we consider uncivilized people, poison animal eaters, slaves from mental death and power, are people who do not know who the true and living God is or their origin in this world, and who worship what not they know what, and who are easily led in the wrong direction, hard to be led in the right direction. That's 85% of the world population. Then you have 10% of the world population who are the rich slave makers of the poor, who teach the poor lies to believe that the almighty true and living God is a spook and cannot be seen with the physical eye, otherwise known as bloodsuckers of the poor. Then you have the 5%ers, who are the poor righteous teachers, who do not believe in the teaching of the 10%ers, but we are all wise and righteous if we know who the almighty true and living God is. And we teach that the almighty true and living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, black man from Asia, who teaches freedom, justice, and equality to all human family of the planet Earth, also otherwise known as civilized people, Muslims, and Muslim sons. So that's the philosophy right there, based on 100% world population. 85% is being led in the wrong direction. They lost. They looking for the truth. They want to be guided in the right direction. The 10% are the one who knows the truth but won't teach the truth, and they basically have control over the 85%ers, and they lead them in the wrong direction by telling them lies. And then you have the 5%ers who battle each and every day with the 10%ers, so we can get to the 85%ers, so we can save their life. So we can teach them how to clean themselves up, how to become civilized, how to remain civilized, and how to teach civilization to others. So that's basically our concept, our philosophy.
I got you. So basically, that on basically making the dumb, deaf, and blind civilized and wise.
Correct.
I got you.
So what I would like for you to do is give me an example for the public to get this. Give me an example of an 85, a 10%, and a 5%.
An 85% is a person who, and again, it could be black, white, brown, or yellow. So we're not just talking about just one particular ethnic group. You know, it's a person, if you look at their ways in action, you'll see that they don't have no sense. They're always argumentative. They always got a bad attitude. They always think they right. You know, they eat the swine, which is a death food, you know. And so you can identify them by their ways and actions. 10%, as you can see, are people who are basically in control of finances and who try to manipulate people to have control over them. And like I said, it could be any ethnic group. Doesn't have to be white, black, brown, red, or yellow. You're dealing with the mindset. And dealing with that mindset, you have them, people that always want to try to control you. Example, instead of selling you something that will cost you $5, they want to sell you something that costs $25 so they can make money off you. That's why we call them the bloodsuckers of the poor. They try to rob the rich. They're like Robin Hood, but they're not giving back to the poor. They're taking from the poor to keep to the rich. Absolutely. And then you have the 5% again that is trying their best to try to reach the 85%ers so we can put a blanket of security around them so we can open their mind up so they don't be deaf, dumb, and blind. So we're considered mentors and teachers.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I wanted to add, how can, like, say somebody out in the public, how can they, how people that's out in the public, like the young sisters and brothers out there, how can they go about wanting to learn more about the nation of God's and earth? How can they join?
The best way to learn about the nation would be, one, they can come to a law school in Mecca, which is in Manhattan and Harlem on 126th Street and 7th Avenue.
Yes.
They have civilization classes on Saturday at 1 o'clock by the brother Allah Shah. And they can get an idea, get an introduction into it. Or they can come to our Universal Parliament as a guest. They can come as my guest. They can come and ask for me, and I would give them a tour and give them an introduction into, you know, what we'd be about. They can see firsthand how we conduct ourselves at our Universal Parliament, which is every last Sunday of the month. From September to May, our parliaments are held in Manhattan. Gotcha. Now we used to use Harriet Tubman on 127th Street, but now we're not using that now. Right now we at what was called 222 West 134th Street. at Mary McLeod Bethune, PS 92,
All right.
the last Sunday of the month, from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, every last Sunday of the month.
Beautiful,
In
beautiful.
the summertime, well, April and May, we've been having our parliaments in Marcus Garvey Park in Mecca from 2 to 8.
I think your microphone muted.
We also have our parliaments in the summertime in Brooklyn, which is called Medina, at Fort Greene Park. We had the June, July, and August, our parliaments are in the park. We just had a parliament there, which is called Children's Day, where we don't sell no items. We do everything for the community. We have it like a bazaar. We have food, we have games for the children. Sometimes we award them for, with their scholarships. We'll give them educational equipment, like school supplies, computers, laptops, things of that nature. That's thanks to our brother Dumar Wadiallah. He passed away a couple of years ago, and he was the spearheader of that. So willfully next year we can re-implement that, and based on the reports that we get from the school, we reward them for good behavior in school by giving them some kind of scholarship and doing something for them to help their parents out as well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's peace, God. I want to ask you, who made it mandatory to knowledge 120, and why is it important? In fact, before we go there, to us, in layman's terms, what is knowledging 120?
Knowledging 120 is meaning to put to memory the lessons of 120 degrees that I spoke about earlier in this interview. Mm-hmm. Like we'll start with who was the original man, and it'll tell you the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. And then they have every degree has a question, and every question has an answer. And so you have to put that to memory to learn 120 different degrees, to put them in your head. And this is a blueprint to help you navigate through the wilderness of North America, and also to empower you to be more successful in your undertakings, give you confidence. It's like a shield that protects you against unrighteousness, protects you against devilishment, and it teaches you a self-worth, a self-development of yourself, to be proud of yourself, that you're a black man or a black woman in the wilderness of North America that's proud of themselves. If you ever notice, when you meet a lot of people from, like Africans in particular, that come from their own country, that never lost the knowledge of themselves, meaning they never lost who they were. Yeah. And due to the slave trade of the white man bringing our family from the black Africa to the wilderness of North America, they programmed, you know the history of slavery, what they did to dehumanize us. So they took that knowledge away from us. So with the teaching of Master Farah Muhammad to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to the Father, which is Allah, that gave us the key to uplift ourselves, and so that we can get to know who we are, become life bearers, and be able to carry that torch into the minds of the people that their minds are dark, deaf, dumb, and blind. And we can give them some light so they can see their path and walk therein, the truth of righteousness.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And
one second. So who made it mandatory to knowledge 120? Was it a law? Who was it? Like, what's the
when the teachings came out from the Supreme Wisdom in the Mars, one of the teachers indicated that they had to put this lessons to memory and answer the lessons 100% correctly before the admittance to the student to said lesson, which is the next lesson to go. You have to put it to memory. So it basically came out to Mars, and the Father mandated it for us that we need to cap 120 lessons.
Wow, there we go.
That's beautiful right there.
Perfect. So I want to talk about so I saw you like in a video. I forgot the exact, what was the video you were in? You remember that? I'm sure. I think we kind of inboxed about that on Facebook.
The brand Nubians video.
The brand Nubian video. How'd you get in that video?
Fab Five Freddy came up to a law school in Mecca to speak about this group that was coming out. They wanted to do a video shoot at the school, and he thought it would be appropriate based on their culture that they should come to the school to do the video. So we had a couple of meetings to we iron out a couple of things and how it was going to work out. And I became the point person. And I met Lord Jamal, Sadat X, and Grand Puba, Alamo, Sincere. That was the group at that time. And they gave us the idea what they wanted to do, how they was going to do it. Then they wanted a lot of guards to be in the video as well. And if you see the video, you see how it moves around to the state office building where you'll see a scene that you see me speaking and saying that the duty of a civilized person is to do what? Teach the uncivilized to be civilized. And then the music key up, move on, black man, move on, you know. And that's how that got to be. Fab Five Freddy was the one that introduced that to us.
Okay, here's another question. Is the 5% nation influenced by hip hop more than the nation influencing hip hop in this current time?
It's the other way around. 5%ers was here before hip hop. So most of the language and the style that they have today, it originated within the cipher of the 5%ers. They had the b-boy stands, you know, they had the cipher. When you get into the cipher, when you ask, you know, you have a cipher, people standing around each other, and each person would either get into the cipher and speak about whatever topic that might be the topic of the day based on the mathematics of the day. Like we may get into the cipher today and speak about the 4th degree, which in the alphabet, which is D, which is divine or evil, divine or destroy. You have a good culture and you have a bad culture. And then each person would elaborate on their understanding of what that culture could be and how they apply to themselves and to others. So that's the cipher. You look at the BET Awards when they have the Hip Hop BET Award, and they always have something to come up with the ciphers, and you see the artists getting in the cipher, they spit their little rhymes, and then another person get up and spit their rhymes. That's like the 5% is getting into the circle, and they're speaking about the day's mathematics or the day's lesson. And then the next person pass the mic and go to the next person. So if I come out the cipher, after I spoke about the day's mathematics, the next person would come up and say, peace, my name is Born Justice of Law. I see the day's mathematics as culture or freedom. And this is how I see it. And then they'll elaborate on how they see it. And they'll say peace once they finish their delivery. And then they'll step back. And then somebody else may step up and they may manifest their particular understanding to that 4th degree. So the gods basically influence hip hop.
Well, what I mean is the current day and time.
But the current day and time is all mixed up because if you look at the language, the 5% basically don't use that kind of language. It's against our, you know what I mean? We civilized people. We don't tell nobody to be twerking and drop it like it's hot. And, you know, we respectful. But they take some of the lyrics and the rhymes and, you know, our influence, and they just flip it to this day and time because the industry basically don't want to hear nothing about positivity. They want people to sit down and shake their ass, drop their pants, rob people, beat people up, you know, disrespect the Black woman, use drugs, kill each other. You know, that's not what we're about. So that's not our influence, but that's, like I said, that's the hip hop of today.
All right. Now, who was your favorite artist, or who is your favorite artist? I guess I would say past, and present.
Well, I can't choose one, but my 2 favorite artists is Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. Because if you look at their lyrics, most of their lyrics is all righteous. It's not dealing with guns and gangs and kilos and drugs and stuff like that. So that's an awareness that they hold dear to their heart, to be respectful in their delivery. And look how successful they are.
Right. All right. So I'm gonna invoke a little controversy with this. Which one is better?
Between Rakim and Big Daddy Kane?
Yeah.
Well, they both got different styles. That's the whole thing. See, it'd be different if they had the same style. And this is what people always want to see them battle and all that. But see, they got different styles. Rakim got a certain style, and Big Daddy Kane got a smooth operating correctly style.
Yeah.
So I can't see them battling each other. That's why I saw when they did the verses that KRS-One went up against Big Daddy Kane because they're more so into that competitive, type field.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Rakim go up against nobody in versus yet.
Nah, I think
Because they can't find nobody that can flow like him.
You know what I think it is? I think Rakim doesn't have a large. Well, I can't say that. I don't think he has a large catalog. I think he has like 4 or 5 albums.
Oh no, but see, that's the whole thing about his style. He don't have to have a whole lot of catalog. What he got it has stand the test of time.
That's true.
I was looking at a video the other day. Damn, where was he at? He was someplace, and if you look at the audience, it's bananas. I think he got DJ. I think he got DJ Jazzy Jeff doing his show with him right now.
I seen that one in New Orleans.
Right, and you see how deep the crowd is.
Yeah, he killed it. He's
So
still a scientist. He's a scientist.
So now I know they got something going on next week. I think it's at Lincoln Center. Big Daddy Kane and Rakim is going to be there, but I don't think they're going against each other. They both performing. I don't know how that's set up, but I would like to try to get there if I can to support both of my brothers.
Yeah, that'll be peak. So we have about 5 minutes left. I want you to talk about positive. I think it's Positive Seeds, right?
Positive Seeds and Pelon Incorporated.
Yes.
It's a nonprofit organization for the growth and development of the youth in our community. As a matter of fact, we've been in existence since 2005, off and on. But luckily, I've been built in the community that I live in, and I have a foundation now. I have a community room that the management company that I used to work for, had given me. And in this computer room, we're going to have a computer lab. We're going to have chess. We're going to teach the children how to play chess. I'm even going to put a Monopoly component in there, because Monopoly will give the children an idea of how to deal with real estate and owning property. If you look at the game itself, you start out with a certain amount of money and you have certain property, and teach you how to buy the property. And if somebody land on your property, they got to pay rent. Then you can always upgrade and put hotels on your property, and the value of your property go up. I think that's a good tool to use to help young children get the idea of learning about real estate and finances and Monopoly. So we're going to teach them how to play chess. We're going to have them learn how to use the computers properly, and not just on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, but actually use it for homework assignments, how to Google, get information for homework, and help them out like that. Right now, we're getting ready to do a bus ride. I was going to do a block party, but I decided to go against that because of all the gun violence in the community. So I'm getting some, so Positive Seeds is just definitely against gun violence. So I'm getting some t-shirts made up with our logo on there. It's going to be orange t-shirts, which is the gun violence, anti-gun violence color. And it's going to be peace in the streets. That's the theme over here. And I'm taking them to Bear Mountain, free of charge. I got donations coming in from various artists. Matter of fact, Big Daddy Kane and Carmelo Anthony's brother, his name is Black Justice. They're supporting the program right now. Big Daddy Kane is the spokesperson for Positive Seeds. You'll be hearing more about that in the future.
Beautiful, man. That's peace, God. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Well, I think that it's a great thing that you're doing something positive as far as getting information so that people can get a better understanding of what the 5%ers are all about. We're not a gang. We're not a religion. We're not running around beating up people, killing people, robbing people, raping people. We're out here striving to save people. And that's our model. We're trying to get out to the community to stop the children from using drugs, getting involved with gangs, and especially stopping it from killing one another. Because if you're losing your mind and you're going in the wrong direction, that's the power of it, 10% over the 85%ers, to have them de-escalate our population. Instead of us acting like kings and queens, we acting like bums and people that don't know how we can conduct ourselves in a civilized manner. We're not savages in the pursuit of happiness. We're wise people, we're educated, and we strive to do the best we can to embrace everybody so they can get a proper knowledge of themselves.
Absolutely. That's respect right there. That's peace right there.
Indeed, God. Indeed.
Actually, one not a little controversy, but not too much controversy.
Okay.
How did
I
you
love controversy.
how did you feel when Jay-Z was wearing a universal flag? Because I know that was like a big thing for everyone. It was like,
I'm glad you brought that up. I did a piece on that. A brother from the Source magazine, Shabu was his name. Shabe, I think it is. He invited me to come and speak. If you Google it, you'll see me speaking about Jay-Z wearing that flag on the Source magazine.
yes.
The thing about it is that we don't know that who influenced Jay-Z. You're not just put the flag on just to put it on. He knows somebody in the nation. Now, who we know that allowed him to wear that flag, I don't know. But I didn't take it as a form of disrespect because he wasn't doing anything far as like uncivilized or disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But he also didn't go into the explanation. I think he did a interview on one of these radio shows, and they asked him about it, and he said it was special to him, but he didn't want to go into details about it. So I took it as how can I say it? A teachable moment.
Yes.
You know, it's a teachable moment because either one, two things have to happen. Either somebody going to approach him and ask him what that meant, or somebody that's with him, willfully they are a 5%er, and they can be able to speak about the universal flag that he had around his neck. So I took it as a teachable moment.
Yeah, that's peace.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on episode 3, our 3rd episode. Thank you, God. I really appreciate you. And you know,
very insightful.
Very insightful. You gave us all the information we needed, and we would love to have you back up here again for sure.
Yeah.
Not a problem. And if anybody in your audience need more information, they can hit me up at bornjustice@gmail.com. Or they can go to Instagram under bornjustice_Allah. I got 1,997 followers right now.
Yes.
And I've tried to put up, every day I strive to put up what's today's mathematics. And I strive to give a breakdown of what that mathematics is all about.
All right, God. Peace to the God. We have less than a minute. Peace.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, peace, my brother. Thank you for the interview. Y'all stay safe.
You stay safe, God. Peace, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.